Manic Miner is a platform game written for the ZX Spectrum by Matthew Smith. It was published by Bug-byte in 1983, then later the same year by Software Projects. The first game in the Miner Willy series, the design was inspired by Miner 2049 1982, for the Atari 8-bit family. Retro gamer called Manic Miner one of the most influential platform games of all time. In each of the 20 caverns, each one screen in size, are several flashing objects, which the player must collect before Willy's oxygen supply runs out. Once the player has collected the objects in one cavern, they must then go to the now flashing portal, which will take them to the next cavern. The player must avoid enemies, listed in the cassette inlay as poisonous pansies, spiders, slime, and worst of all, manic mining robots, which move along predefined paths at constant speeds. Willy can also be killed by falling too far, so players must time the precision of jumps and other movements to prevent such falls or collisions with the enemies. Extra lives are gained every 10,000 points, and the game ends when the player has no lives left. Above the final portal is a garden. To the right is a house with a white picket fence and red car parked in front. To the left is a slope leading to backyard with a pond and tree. A white animal, resembling a cat or mouse, watches the sun set behind the pond. Upon gaining his freedom, the game restarts from the first level with no increase in difficulty. While prospecting, Miner Willy stumbles on an old, long-forgotten mineshaft. On further exploration, he finds evidence of a superior lost civilization. These ancients used robots to dig deep into the Earth's core to supply the essential raw materials for their advanced industry. Centuries of peace and prosperity passed, until one day the civilization tore itself apart through war. It lapsed into a long dark age, abandoning its industry and machines. Nobody, however, thought to tell the mine robots to stop working. Through countless ages they had steadily collected a huge stockpile of valuable metals and minerals. Miner Willy realizes that he now can make his fortune by finding the underground store. To move to the next chamber, you must collect all the flashing keys while avoiding nasties like poisonous pansies and spiders and worst of all, manic mining robots. However, if you fall heavily 3 times the game will end. After collecting all the keys, you can enter the flashing portal to escape the mine. In August 1983, sales of Bug-byte's original ZX Spectrum release of Manic Miner took the game to the top of the UK video games charts, replacing Jetpack. The Commodore 64 version, released by Software Projects, reached the #1 position in early 1984. It went on to become the best-selling Commodore 64 game and third best-selling ZX Spectrum game of 1984. The Sam Cooke version scored 84% in Your Sinclair and 88% in Crash. Manic Miner was the winner of Best Arcade Style Game, and placed third in the Game of the Year category at the 1983 Golden Joystick Awards, voted for by readers of Computer and Video Games magazine. Manic Miner was placed at number 25 in the Your Sinclair official Top 100 Spectrum Games of All Time, and was later voted number 6 in the Reader's Top 100 Games of All Time. In 1991, ACE magazine listed Manic Miner and its sequel Jet Set Willy, along with Hunchback, Impossible Mission, and the Mario series, as the greatest platform games of all time, calling Manic Miner the first great home computer platform game. The game was number 97 on Polygon's 2017 retrospective list of the 500 best games of all time. On the Spectrum, this was the first game with in-game music, the playing of which required constant CPU attention and was thought impossible. It was achieved by constantly alternating CPU time between the music and the game. This results in the music's stuttery rhythm. The in-game music is in the Hall of the Mountain King, from Edvard Grieg's music to Henrik Ibsen's play Peer Gynt. The music that plays during the title screen is an arrangement of the Blue Danube. In each of the 20 caverns are several flashing objects, which the player must collect before Willy's oxygen supply runs out. Once the player has collected the objects in one cavern, they must then go to the now flashing portal, which will take them to the next cavern. The player must avoid enemies, listed in the cassette inlay as poisonous pansies, spiders, slime, and worst of all, manic mining robots, which move along predefined paths at constant speeds. Willy can also be killed by falling too far, so players must time the precision of jumps and other movements to prevent such falls or collisions with the enemies. The game ends when the player has no lives left. Extra lives are gained every 10,000 points or when the player completes all 20 caverns and escapes to the open air.
Não se esqueça de deixar aqui o seu like, gostei, se inscreva no meu canal. Se inscreva nesse canal, preciso de mais inscritos. Eu não aguento esse Whindersson Nunes com mais inscritos do que eu. Todos os dias fico doido. Clique em joinha, deixa o seu gostei, deixa o seu gostei. Consegui mais inscritos, eu juro pra você que pinto meu cabelo de uma corzinha bem diferente.